We're back on with part two. And Lynn, okay, that's good, thank you. I have a couple of other questions and we're doing really well for time. So no problem there. So sticking with the fire department for a few moments, I've had people ask me as well about the ladder truck that's been used for medical calls. And I think the chief, and I messed up his name the last time, so I'm not even going to say it.
Derek Van Pagey.
Yeah, so the chief, I believe, said to council one time in my presence when I was at the council meeting, once the medical equipment is moved on to the other truck, the ladder truck will no longer go to medical calls. What's happened there, do you know?
As far as I know, they're still going to medical calls.
I know
And the issue is, right now, that's where all their equipment is, right?
And why is that?
Like they're waiting for the other vehicle, right, to come in, is my understanding.
The other
Now,
vehicle?
I don't know if I'm not sure. I haven't
So
checked
you mean another vehicle has been purchased?
No, not that I know of.
So what's the
No.
other vehicle?
Well, I don't know. Like if that's where all their equipment is they need,
Yeah,
they're going to keep using it.
okay.
Right. That's my understanding, because you've got to have all that equipment on for an emergency call. The only issue with the big ladder truck is it's not the easiest truck to move around, right?
Right.
And some of those streets it's got to turn on is not the easiest. So it's really not the most practical for those kind of situations, but
Exactly, and it's certainly not the most economical either, I don't think. The one thing I do like about it, and it's just my opinion, is that they have room for more crew.
yeah.
That's great, because you got to get your guys to the fire.
And a lot of people have wondered too, why did we need an aerial truck? But when you look at the subdivisions, you look at the barns, I know when the fire, we didn't have that ladder truck very long when they had the fire out at Shep's Bakery.
Yeah,
And they'll tell you that truck saved their building.
yeah. I don't begrudge them that truck. Okay, so let me ask you another one that revolves around the fire department. Would you favor Norwich having a rescue truck for medical calls? So that would be a smaller truck, maybe like what people would refer to as a SWAT truck or a UPS truck, something like that.
I'm a little hesitant about that, because where would it sit? Like,
Well, there's the third bay down there that has just a pickup truck in it.
oh, I know, but if it's servicing the whole township,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
you know,
Does
like right
Burgessville and
now-
Otterville not have rescue trucks?
well, but they'll go, like their fire trucks will go out too, right?
Yes.
So I think we're still, I think we're still on the right page with, keeping the stations doing what they're doing.
Okay.
They'll go out quicker. Like if we have one truck, I don't think that's going to work for the whole township, right? It's better off that the firefighters go out from their specific station, and
Yeah, I agree.
because we stretch too far. We go from the 401 right down to number 3. So I don't think that would work. I mean, I like the fact we have the EMS here in town. That seems to be working very well, but that's an Oxford County service. So.
Yes. Okay, excellent. So, sticking again with the fire department for a moment. Some of the calls that go out for, say, a motor vehicle collision. And of late, I've been told that they're sending out a second department, a second station. So, for example, Oxford Center goes out, they call Burgessville to assist. Burgessville gets about halfway there, and then they're turned back. Now, when they're dispatched, the dispatch clearly says that there's no entrapment, no major injuries, everyone's out of the vehicle. Why do they automatically call that second station?
I didn't realize they were doing it for you're talking about a motor vehicle accident.
Yeah, I think it might happen. It might have just happened recently. I'm not sure.
Okay. So I'm not sure on that, but I know definitely when there's a fire.
Yes, okay, I can
They are
understand that.
definitely, when there's a fire, they're going to call out usually more than one station.
Yep, I can understand
Right,
that.
but with the motor vehicle accident,
Mhm.
that's probably more from dispatch that might say we need to. But I'm not.
Dispatch clearly states that there's no injuries and no entrapment. So I don't know why they're sending out a second station.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's the legality of it, or
Could be.
I don't know the
Could be.
liability.
Yeah, it could be. Would you be in favor of giving up our fire department to a county-run system like Norfolk?
Well, we're not in the same situation as Norfolk. Norfolk is a single-tier government, and we are a two-tier government. So I think we're better off, as long as they leave us as a two-tier government, I think we're better off just to do what we're doing, personally.
But okay, so the two-tiered government, they took our water.
Water and sewer,
Yeah.
they look after that. But
Yeah.
that's only in the urban areas, right?
Okay,
Right? Like they're the only areas that have that, and it's user pays. So only the people that are on water and sewer
okay,
pay for that service. That doesn't come out of every taxpayer.
okay.
So,
Pay as you play.
yeah.
Okay, one last thing about the fire department, then I'll move on. And this affects you because I believe you were part of this. I think this was before you changed positions there. Why is the fire training center a bit of an eyesore, in my opinion, at the township office instead of at the work yard?
At the work yard?
Yeah.
Okay. There was quite a bit of debate going on about that before it was actually put at this location. I at one time kind of hesitated and thought that maybe it should be more in Otterville, actually at one of the fire stations.
Okay.
Because my concern was when you have a training center, they have to do inside training also. So why not have it at a fire station where you could do that? They have rooms there to do that. But when it came down to it, it was the better location. It's more of an industrial area too, with the rest of the industrial part going on. And they've got it painted now. So to me, it really isn't. It isn't an eyesore. And the concern was too with the soccer there.
I believe the soccer had a delegation at the council.
They
not?
they did, and their concerns were really legitimate because they didn't want any kind of training going on and smoke and anything like that while the kids were playing soccer. And as far as I am sure that they don't do any training when there is soccer going on, and that was part of the agreement. So I think it's working out better than we all thought, because sometimes change is, we don't like change,
Certainly.
but I was a little concerned with it too. But it doesn't, when I go there now and I park there for soccer to go watch my grandsons, it really kind of, it's looking okay, and it's a great thing for our firefighters to have.
Okay, very good. With the pending resignation of Councillor Shelton, do you favor a by-election or an appointment?
Due to the fact we're having a by-election now, which I think when you're not even halfway into your term, you have no option. In my way of thinking, you need to do a by-election. If you're more than halfway through the term, I think an appointment would be more reasonable, because it's going to cost the township money to do a by-election. So,
Yeah.
but to me, it's the fairest way to do it.
Okay.
And especially since we're doing a by-election for Ward 2, you really can't do an appointment for Ward 1. That's not fair. But we're not. If we were halfway through the term, I could see that an appointment would be more acceptable.
Okay. I know the answer to this one already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If called upon by the media or concerned citizens, do you plan on answering your phone, and how do you feel about council not being approachable? Or certain members of council not being approachable?
Yes, you always have to answer your phone. You might not like what someone says to you or the questions they ask, but you are an elected official and you represent the township, whether you're a councillor or a mayor, and you have to give them an answer. Might not be what they want to hear. It might not be what you want them to say to you, but you have to answer your phone and you have to give them an answer.
Good. If you could accomplish just one thing during this term of office, what would it be?
I guess due to the turmoil we've kind of been in the last year, I would like to see everyone come back together as a community, work together. It's a great place to live. Someone asked me not that long ago, "Well, Lynn, would you like to move away?" And I said, "I'll never move away. This is my community. This is my home. Born and raised here. You know, I've got root. This is my roots, and I think you feel the same way too.
Absolutely.
This is our hometown, and
Yep.
it's a great place to live. So
Absolutely, I wouldn't change it.
we
I
have a
mean, I
li-
wouldn't change living here.
no, we had a little hiccup, but I think we can. Well, maybe a bigger hiccup than we wanted, but I think we can. Work together and move ahead.
Okay, we're getting a nice new store in town. What would you do as a councillor who got a business or businesses into the built into the empty lot across from the post office? What's happening there? What would you do to promote that?
Dollarama?
No, across from the post office.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
they did come for a zone change.
Okay,
So there was a zone change probably a year and a half, 2 years ago.
did it go through?
Yes.
Okay.
So they asked for like 3 small businesses on the bottom and apartments or offices on the top of that building.
Yep.
And that was approved.
Good.
And I believe it's the same owners that owned both parcels.
Okay.
So whether or not Dollarama or the store coming, if we say it, they say it's Dollarama, and I think it is a Dollarama. Whether or not they bought the property or they're going to lease that, I'm not 100% sure, but it was the owners of the property that came and got that minor variance. So I would assume, I'm assuming once that parcel is developed, I think they'll move ahead with the other part.
Great. What if it takes tax incentives or reduced fees?
I don't think we can offer that really as a township because we haven't offered.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, we haven't offered that to anybody else. And if you do that, you're setting a precedence. So you're going to have to continue. If you do it once, you're going to have to do it again.
Very good. Last question. What are you prepared to do about derelict buildings in the township? Now, I've asked you this before.
Mm-hmm.
We have, there are none in Ward 2, by the way, that I can find. But
Yeah.
we have some in the township, and I'd just like to know what you would do about it.
Well, we all know that gas station, the derelict gas station, has been an issue. And shortly before my last term was up, I was still hoping that somehow working with James Johnson, Mike Legg, the prior treasurer, tried his hardest, and James, I'm sure, is still trying. With that $1.3 million lien on it, because of the gas tax that wasn't paid, plus I think they owned 5 properties, so it kind of falls on, if you buy one, I think the lien, they're going to charge you for it. So I would love to see that building, come down or be sold, like have the property sold so someone can do something with it.
Okay. Last 2 minutes or 3. I want you to tell me why we should vote for Lynn.
Why should you vote for Lynn? Well, I was talking to a friend the other day, and she said too, what is the best thing about this community, and what do you want to do? And I said, well, I think for me, I've always been a part of this community. So I kind of went into politics after. Like I was on the minor hockey executive, I was on the figure skating executive, involved with different fundraising over the years. And I think I got to know my community very well before I got into the politics.
Mm-hmm.
So now I just want to continue doing what I can do for the community. And I'm approachable. I'm willing to sit down and listen to people. I'm very inclusive. I've always wanted to be fair to everyone. I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care your sexual orientation. I don't care what church. I don't care if you go to church. I just want to treat everyone equally, with compassion and honesty. And
Very good, Lynn. Thank you very much. And
Thank you,
that
Vic.
is done.